Hey buddy, what's up? It's Monday. So recently I was standing in line to go to our chow hall, and they have markers staggered every 6 feet so that nobody gets too close. And I noticed that the people I was with do not stand on these lines. I do, and I'm not sure why. Like, what's the difference there? And I think back to Japan where everything was like neat and orderly all the time, and people did exactly what they were supposed to do. Um, that took me to thinking about the shopping cart theory that I talked about in one of my other videos. And I'm not really sure why, but I've noticed that like at least the people I'm out here with, I'm deployed with, have like this thing about like if there's a rule like so at the dining hall, you have to take your cover off. They hate taking their cover off. People will wear their mask, but then they will immediately move it down to here on their chin so it doesn't actually um, cover their mouth. And this is while you're in line to the chow hall. And I wondered why people rebel against seemingly very non-consequential rules. So, for example, there's no harm in you staying in line on the painted lines that are on the ground. Yet people still don't do it. And in some cases, not anybody I've known, but I've actually seen people look down, see that they're staying on the line, and then physically take a step back off of the line. And it reminds me of a movie that was made years ago with James Dean called Rebel Without a Cause. Now, I've never seen this movie, but I've heard the references to it anytime, like, I was younger and just, I felt like being a pain in the butt, and people would tell me to do something like, no, I'm not doing that, whether it's a good reason or not. And they're like, oh, you just have to be a rebel right now, don't you? And I think I think that's a lot of what it is here because the more I think about it, like, so I started asking the guys I was deployed with, I'm like, well, do you use your turn signal? And one guy said no. I'm like, well, why? Like, why wouldn't you just use your turn signal when you're making turns? And they just don't. What about wearing your seatbelt in your car? And one guy does, the other guy, he tries to remember, it's their miss, but they acknowledge it's something you should do because, they make their kids wear their seatbelts, as you should. And I just found it odd that people are so, like, it's almost like if there's a rule in place and there's no consequence for the rule, then they just automatically want to break it. They actually seem to go out of their way to not follow it, whether it's for a good reason or not. And it's funny because then I think about the fact that there's so many signs in the US. Like, there's signs for everything because people won't use common sense. Like, even out here, we have so many signs in the chow hall about wearing a mask and washing your hands. You can take your mask off when you eat, though, but up until then, you have to wear a mask. And it's like, you wonder, why do we have so many signs? Or, why do we have somebody, we actually have somebody on watch making sure you wash your hands. We have somebody else on watch that makes sure you use hand sanitizer. And it's like, well, this is the reason why. Because we have people that like to rebel against stuff for seemingly no reason. And I'm not sure why. So basically, that's just what this is about. Do you know why people do that? Like, why do people just, when there's a rule, even if it makes sense or not, they almost feel compelled to not follow it almost out of spite? I don't know, buddy. It was just something that was on my mind. Anyway, I love you, buddy. I miss you. I'm proud of you like always. I'll see you soon and stay awesome.